The whiff, close beat. You said he doesn't, Shanghai doesn't like to play this match.
He does not like playing against this character.
Ooh, what's going on? Oh my lord! Right to the Lord! To the Lord!
Hey! My loyal fans! Hey, hey.
任務を遂行する。終わりだ。
In today's video, we'll be covering a vicious grappler that only knew offense and oppression. She's a fan favourite in the KOF series that players just love, and players like Ruffelmonger are a big fan of her. But what's up fellas, Panda here. Be sure to like and subscribe as we're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers to cover Zangief. And to talk a bit more about the video, a little bit of a ramble. Basically, I'm going to be trying to chew off a lot of the fat from the videos, so a lot of the stuff that gets explained that doesn't need it, I'm going to try to cover that. I want this to be shorter for you guys. Are you playing Absalom?
No.
He is! Yeah, but you think you're smart. But let's talk about what a grappler wants. In 2D fighters, grapplers tend to have a lacking neutral, a very difficult time to get in, but once they're in, they're able to threaten the strike throw, which is a 50-50 between hitting the opponent and go for the grab. The grab tends to deal less damage, but the strike tends to deal way more, and when the grappler gets a corner, it is GG's, my friend. You know what a grappler wants? It's time for the game of today. Let the fires burn brighter. KOF 2002 Ultimate Man. Getting back to the pixel era of King of Fighters by taking a look at the modernized 2002 KOF. Personally, I prefer 98, but 02 is still mad fun. The roster is huge, so if you can't fight a main in this game,
what's wrong with you?
Of course, we also have the playable band bosses, with Geef having one of the coolest sprites in the game. But let's talk about the basics of the game. It's a 4-button fighter, 2 for punching and 2 for kicking. The movement is still insane. You have stuff like running, backdashes, short hopping, jumping, super short hopping, and super jumping. KOF was distinct for having insane jumping mobility, and it makes it kinda hard to anti-air. You have the selection of 3 characters added to a team, because it's a team fighter, not a tag fighter, so you don't get assists, but you get to select characters to play in an order. These are the basics you had to know, but the rest will be explained as we explain the character. Now that we're done, it's time for the grappler of today. The brutal sadist, the savage slammer. Face. Vice joined the roster in the first game, but has stayed as a mainstay due to being pretty popular among the player base. She immediately radiates an energy of uncertainty and violence. This pairs well with her fighting style being a flurry of attacks, massive slams, or running your face along the pavement. You can't help but flinch at her fighting style if it was real, and it's listed as she doesn't have a fighting style, it's just aggression. Personally not a character I would play, but after this video I really appreciate how approachable and fun she is, despite the fact her character is anything but. Her backstory is also short but a little messed up. She used to work for Rugal, but after his loss joined the Ori with Mature. They joined to keep an eye on him, as he is the blood descendant of the Orochi blood. Despite working with Iori to help him deal with the people trying to resurrect Orochi, Goenez, the main bad guy, activated the Riot of the Blood, activating Iori to go on a killing spree. Iori killed both Vice and Mature, and after this they haunted Iori as ghosts. This allowed them to still be playable in the game. So messed up fact about Vice, if she's feeling brutal enough and really views her opponent as weak, she'll do this.
What in the actual
Genuine chills. It kinda sells her sadist nature, that the fact that she's willing to cannibalize on someone. It was never performed for any other KOF game, but Jesus Christ. Onto the kit though. Whenever we talk about a character that isn't broken either by being busted or trashed, we're going to just talk about the toolkit, right? Because it makes no sense to talk about it in that nature. It's only worth talking about the positives if they're insanely broken, and it's only worth talking about the negatives if they're insanely bad, whereas most grapplers aren't. Yo, editing Panda here, and this is to go on to what someone said in the recent feedback, is that I need to explain more what's going on. So I want you to keep this in mind with the future explanations, that Vice was a character that was designed to get to the corner and run with the corner. I feel like that was the key design, so keep that in mind with everything you see. She wasn't slow or big, which is a pretty good start. A lot of pokes were hard to use in neutral. Your specials made up for this, but this meant your game plan was a bit linear and awkward against good zoners. I want to talk about the main strength immediately, her screen carry capabilities. A lot of her tools made it easy to get to the corner, either comboing or using her main command grab. Gorefist is a great grab to use on combos or 50-50s to get to the corner where her game plan shines. She also had Decide, which sweeps the opponent's shins, tossing the opponent to the other side of her for a knockdown. This would be great if she is in the corner or if the corner is close by her side. She always had a way to get to the corner. That's why she was asking you to decide, forward or back. When the corner came into play, the Sadist Nature really started to show. Going between strike and throw, it was hard to deal with the offense she could put down. This is where she had easy hit confirms like the shoulder into power bomb, and now you see why I paired her with Android 16. But don't jump out, she was given an air super that brings you down to earth, keeping the sky safe. The knockdown pressure of any of these tools were just horrendous to deal with. If you thought Geef with the corner was suffocating, you ain't fought Vice yet. Oh yeah, I love how I forgot to mention about the corner, as she had infinites. If she had a corner and got a counter hit on the right tool, she would slice you to pieces and delete a lot of your health with these kicks. She did low damage until the corner infinite came in. You think these legs were great for chip damage, but nah, they were very low on that. They were great for walling the opponent in the air, so if you got an air-to-air situation, it could lead to a bombo. Defense is also just good. Having a DP throw, which is the standard for KOF, she can escape situations with a toss, blackened into Methan's robe. Did a good bit in knockdown as well. On any of these knockdowns, she can threaten throw, strike, and ambiguous cross up. Using roll, you can go through knockdown opponents, and you can time it so it looks extremely hard to distinguish what side you're on. Welcome to the blender, where Vice would go chop chop chop. This roll was also good on defense as it lets you get by projectiles. This was a universal mechanic though. Wake up timings were also different for every character, so you had to have all of your get-ups or safe jumps, because she had a lot of good ones, but everyone had to deal with this weakness, but it was a very awkward one indeed. She came well on defense using legs like I mentioned before. They were good for dealing with short hops, or you can use them for those antsy opponents that jump. The sight was also used in neutral to catch zoners before their fireballs. This also led into the ambiguous roll mix-ups that we talked about earlier. It's almost like she's inevitable, you can't avoid her. And then her super weathering surface was a grab that jumped over fireballs like you're seeing here, and pokes to slam you. And it's funny because she can match Android 16 in dunks. They're pretty equal on it. Her tools against zoning was about being faster in the draw. She had to use either the base mechanics or the right tool to get in. This was a slight problem as she couldn't strategize the way in, but she had to brute force her way in. And this suits her character to a T. You just had to commit. I like Vice as she's designed to be a grappler that's either quick on the draw or just a sadist in the corner. And she can get you to the corner insanely easily, and I believe this is what the focus on her design was. It was a character that could get you there and run her pressure, run strike throw, and as you can see with these clips, the goal is to open you up by getting you to the corner. It's like she wanted you to know that she was in charge of the fight, and you had to accept that. That being said, who are the folks that made her work? that played Vice were actually pretty fantastic, and I want you guys to keep in mind, despite having these insane strengths, she was a mid tier in this game, so people that played Vice tend to be specialists. Vice's playstyle was so unique as she wanted to take you to the corner to run just pure brutal, vicious, sadist pressure. That was the goal. She wanted to get you there and did exactly whatever the hell she wanted. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video and enjoyed the format, and I'm trying to do something different. I want this to be a bit better for you guys and for myself as well, because I felt the pacing was off, and it was good to see that you guys also felt the same way. There are going to be more adjustments in the future to address the pacing, so we're going to be tuning the fat off video by video, but once we get there, once we get that perfect pacing, Grab will be at the best it could possibly be. I don't know what I'm going to do for the next Grappler. I think it might be a discussion video, but who knows, it might be a fun one coming up for sure. I'll be sure to catch you guys in the Grappler Church. See ya!